Good afternoon. How is everybody doing today? It is currently October 26th, Saturday, and we are going to be talking about our next potential tropical system that's going to be forming right down here in the Caribbean within the next coming days. Now, mind you, you're probably wondering, it's very quiet down here. You don't see anything. National Hurricane Center is really not saying anything about it. So you're probably wondering, where is it? What's going on? Why is nobody else talking about this? Well, one reason is no one's talking about this is because we're still far out. We're still over pretty much almost 7 days out until anything really gets going down here in the Caribbean. Now, the conditions are conducive for tropical development. We've got plenty of ocean heat content, deep ocean heat content, minimal shear down here, not too much dry air. So it's in the perfect condition, almost as per se, for tropical development. And we're going to be taking a look at a couple different models here, beginning with the GFS model. And what you're going to notice, this right now is on Wednesday, October the 30th. Not much going on down here, but as we put this into motion, you'll notice around Friday, November the 1st, we start getting a low pressure system down here in the Southern Caribbean. It begins to rapidly drop in pressure, rapidly intensifying now. A key thing to pay attention here that is going to really dictate what happens with the storm system and where it is going to go is going to be our weather in the United States, as long as with the troughing and this high pressure system out here in the Atlantic Ocean, the Bermuda High. These are all going to act like steering currents. And originally, a lot of these models were suggesting that these troughs, these cold fronts coming down, were going to be a little bit weaker. They were going to be a little bit later, and the ridging wasn't going to be here. So there was an opportunity for this to potentially come up in here, get pulled north by a storm system coming down, and then slingshot this way as it pushes it out into the Atlantic Ocean, potentially into Florida. That is looking less and less likely due to these systems, a lot more ridging, a lot more high pressure. These high pressure systems, they spin everything counterclockwise, right? So if you got a ridging out here, you got a cold front coming down from this way, troughing coming down from this way, right? Can't go this way. So it's going to be forced to start going this way, right? It's going to end up, most likely, this model thinks it's going to stall out, right? Because you got this high pressure, can't go this way. It's got the storm system coming in, it's going to kind of meander until either this weakens or this comes and pushes it out into the Atlantic Ocean. Mind you, this is all potential hypothetical talk. This, we're still very far out, but the models are starting to trend in a different agreement now than what they were originally saying, hey, a big hurricane is potentially coming into the United States. But as y'all can see here, our 060 run Sunday, November the 3rd, has a 967 hurricane. Probably a Cat 2, pushing almost borderline Cat 3 at this point, approaching the Dominican Republic. Now, if I'm down here in Jamaica, the DR, Cuba, don't take this with a grain of salt still, right? Because we don't have an official upper level low forming down here in Cuba, so we really can't dictate the strength of the path just yet until we actually get some type of system down here that has formed. But as we take this into the future, this model is suggesting that it's going to come over the DR, weaken due to land interaction, and then proceed into the Atlantic Ocean near Cuba and the islands out here. And you'll notice, like I said, it's going to start slowing down, right? Can't go north. We've got this ridge up here, and you're also going to notice there's another storm system building back here in the United States, which is also going to cause severe weather. And we're looking at some severe weather, but we'll talk about that in a minute here. And you can see just kind of sits there, stalls out, can't really go nowhere, keeps keeping blocked, tries to go back toward the DR, stalls out for quite some time. And then finally, boom, high pressure weakens, storm system builds in the United States, and then pushes it on out. And then another high pressure system, dry air, building back in for the eastern United States. This is going to kind of be the trend going into this time of the year, and it's that winter fall climatology that we always talk about. Why these storms don't really get into the Gulf of Mexico this time of the year. It's very rare because you've got fronts coming down, you got trough, and you got ridging this time of the year, and it's very common to see these storms form down here and be pulled out into the Atlantic Ocean. So it's like the United States' own weather security barrier, right, per se. But this is just one model, so let's go ahead and jump over to the Canadian and some other models and see what they have to show as well. Alrighty, jumping over to the Canadian model. This is another model that has been pretty decent when it comes to forecasting these tropical systems, and it's been more of a conservative model as far as the GFS goes, painting this crazy major fantasy hurricane coming into the Gulf of Mexico. Canadian model has always been a little more reserved. So the latest update, what's interesting is from the couple latest 0Z, 6Z, and 12Z runs has been really reserved, but this latest run has latched on to the fact that it thinks that down here in the Central American gyro, it thinks that it's going to be able to develop a little bit further to the west per se than the GFS and some of the other models, and this would allow it to potentially have a little more of a probability to be able to be pulled north, more north towards the United States. Like I said, regardless, at the end of the day, the timing with these troughs and systems in the United States is going to be everything when it comes to the steering mechanisms and the timing of this storm, depending upon where it goes. But we can play this into motion. Y'all can see right down here in the Southern Caribbean, Central Maryland, Iowa, we have a 992. This is around 0Z Monday, November the 4th. And I think that if it does develop a low pressure system more west down here in the Southern Caribbean, I think that it's going to definitely have a greater chance of developing more rapidly and being pulled north. And this model, unfortunately, the Canadian model only goes out to 240 hours, but we can see it definitely has that more westward track. It's more on the western side of Jamaica, honestly, making a beeline for Jamaica. So, like I said, if I am down here, right, in Jamaica, the DR, Cuba, anywhere, even Puerto Rico, I'm paying attention. I'm like I said, I am not on alert just yet. I'm not sounding the alarm saying, hey, there's a hurricane or a tropical system coming. This is just the trend. This is a signal that's been saying, hey, it's been repetitive over the past week, and this is what we think is going to happen based on the current conditions in the environment. And we think that it's conducive for tropical development, which it is this time of the year. It definitely is. Don't get me wrong. We down here in the Southern Caribbean, you are still very likely to get tropical systems. It's just very rare to see them come into the United States of America, let alone the Gulf of Mexico. It's very hard because, like I say, we've got these troughs, these fronts, and things like that. But the Canadian model, Tuesday, November the 5th, it thinks that there is going to be a 976 millibar hurricane sitting just south of the DR. Will it happen? Who knows? It's still far out. We still got a lot of kinks to work out, but this is a couple different models between the GFS and a model that's usually pretty conservative. And when it comes to tropical development. But let's go ahead and dive on to more of our weather in the United States and take a look at these potential steering mechanisms and the potential severe weather impact and what we could be looking at within the next coming week. Ready, jumping over to the United States of America, and we're going to begin by taking a look at our latest 850 millibar winds, and this is about a kilometer above our heads, and this is going to kind of give us an idea of the environment of what this potential storm system has to produce as far as severe weather. And generally, you want a negative tiltly trough to have severe weather. This is going to be more on the positive tilt side / neutral, but because we have these such two strong different air masses, one on the western United States and one on the eastern United States, and they're going to clash together and create this squeeze, and you're going to have these winds about a kilometer above our head cranking 55 to 60 knots, and this is going to kind of create spin in the atmosphere, and this is most likely not going to be a big tornado outbreak, but severe weather is definitely going to be likely across the Central Plains moving into October the 29th to pretty much November the 1st. That Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think, is going to be a Halloween severe weather event that we're going to have to pay attention to. And a lot of times going into the end of the year, we start seeing a lot of these severe weather events ramping back up and then kind of quiet down again and then ramp back up in our normal tornado season, April, May, going into June. But this is a reason why, and depending upon how strong it gets in the timing, could definitely make a difference in where our tropical system down here ends up going. And we can put this at a time, November the 2nd. You can see our system down here coming up through the Caribbean. You can see high pressure system over here, little storm system building down here, and it just, it blocks it. This high pressure just shuns it to the east. So it's going to be something that we're going to continue monitor as far as the future models show and as they continue to get more information. Let's go ahead and take a look at the dew points for this next coming week, and y'all can see about Wednesday going into Thursday, we've got dew points streaming in the low 60s all the way up to Oklahoma, Kansas, and Iowa. Plenty of moisture. We're going to have plenty of moisture. I don't think moisture is necessarily going to be a problem in this case. We're going to have plenty of energy. So we're just going to have to kind of watch and see what's going to happen. A couple of tornadoes are not going to be ruled out. I think we'll probably see a 5% outlook for tornado probability put out by the National or the Severe Weather Service, I should say. And for central Oklahoma, Kansas, and part of these areas. But it's something that we're going to continue monitoring. I'm not going to get into too much detail as far as the timing, the strength, and where these storms are potentially going to go, because like I said, we're still a little bit far out. But I'll continue to keep y'all up to date, keep this video short and brief for y'all. I'll be doing more in-depth, detailed videos as these systems and events gets closer. Hopefully, we'll be looking at some cooler air coming in starting the 1st of November, going into the end of November. But yeah, guys, I appreciate all of y'all for joining. If y'all like the video, like it. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this and comment down below if y'all have any questions or concerns, and I'll see y'all in the next video.